Taylor Swift is a link builder. There were rumors that she would get engaged. Our client said, let's give them a free wedding venue. And then we got them 50 links. That's digital PR.
Managing multiple clients or large websites? Automate your SEO with Ali AI. Start your free trial now.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Thank you very much, Vicky. Hi, everyone. Okay, let's go into it straight away. My first question to you is, are your managers telling you to use more and more AI for translations? Are you encouraged to use AI? Yes. We've seen lots of leaders pushing us to use AI for content creation, for translation. We know already that local content is the best for better return on investments for your campaigns, whether you're working on SEO or you're working on paid search. We know that. But to get there, you need to translate, to localize, and to create content from scratch sometimes, if that is the right strategy to go with, right? So in the middle of all of this, there are so many options, and there's so many, what shall I say, platforms that pop out there, like mushrooms, and you need to choose which platform you are going to go with for the best quality of the target language that your target's language and the quality of what you're producing as a campaign. So there are two things we need to think about. There's AI and there's neural machine translation, NMT. So AI is perceived to be this new thing. The new thing is not AI. The new thing is generative AI. AI has been around for a long time, and neural machine translation is part of that. So if we look at AI as a family, it's been around for a while, right? Then we have machine learning. Machine learning includes also natural language processing, which actually feeds the machine translation that's been around for decades. And then we have Gen AI and LLMs coming into the picture. So they are part of the same family, it just the model is different. So when we look at neural machine translation, it's just mimicking human brain. So translating using large data sets that train the machine to learn the human language and to produce it. And you all know we've been using the likes of Google Translate. That is an NMT model, right? So now we're talking also about AI, and you also have, you've been using, I don't know, your machine translation models before. Now you don't know what's the difference. They are actually based on the same model, and the T in ChatGPT is actually stands for transformer. They're both based on a transformer model. The only difference is NMT was created for the sake of translation. That is the aim of NMT. It's been trained to translate. It's been trained for each vertical. Say, for example, the healthcare vertical, it will be fed lots of data and information, pharmaceutical data, healthcare, and that would be really trained for that vertical. It could be very, very specific and very good. But LLMs, they are not trained that way. They were created with an aim to create content at scale. It's not their original primary function. So that is why we have to be super careful how we choose which platform you're gonna go with. You need to ask about the technology behind the platform. If you're using a platform, obviously they didn't come up with the technology. There are technologies out there, the likes of GPT, Llama, Bison, all of those big LLMs, they provide technology to those platforms. So you need to go and ask what technology is behind the platform. So what we know for now is that LLMs are much cheaper than machine translation platforms, and however, they're between 50 to 1,000 times slower. So if you're processing large volumes of segments, although it's going to cost you less, it's going to cost you much. It's going to take you much longer to work on. And this is just a quick. We're not going to go through lots of details, but just to show you quickly, from a translation speed perspective in seconds, how long it takes an MT model to translate the same number of segments in text, and how long it takes LLMs such as, we have Claude there, GPT-4, Gemini, Llama, Bison, and the likes here, the MTs, we have the likes of Baidu, DeepL, Google Translate, Microsoft Translate, Sistrand Pro. So from a speed perspective, we know that MTs are much quicker. With regards the cost, this is interesting because you see that all the LLMs down here are the cheapest. Don't know whether there's a laser. No? Okay. These are the cheapest. However, we see that in everything in dark blue are dark blue is MT and light blue is LLMs. Okay, so we see a light blue one over there. That's GPT-4. So it's still expensive, as you can see over there. So when you're talking to your platforms, you need to understand and ask the question about what is the technology behind the platform, because this could mean a lot. You could be going for something that looks cheap, but the quality is not there, because on this side, we'll have, on the cheaper side, you'll have ChatGPT 3.5. But if you want the quality of GPT-4, you need to be on the expensive side. Just quickly to give you an idea of what we need to get really interested in these things, because it is the future and everything is going to be going that way. We see from an analysis that was done by Intento, evaluating between throughout a year-long analysis, they've analyzed 52 systems, both a mix of LLMs and NMT systems, among which there are 24 LLMs that are top performing. 50% of all the top performing models are LLMs. In 2024, 55% of those top performing models are LLMs. And last year, it was only 17%. So they are actually getting way better. We know that NMT is good now, but LLMs are getting better. They're catching up. So right now in 2024, NMT is better than LLMs. However, it's getting there. So we can see the details of this research. They've worked on 11 language pairs, 52 machine translation and LLMs, and in 9 content domains: entertainment, hospitality, education, healthcare, legal, financial. The 20 top performing LLMs and MT models were a mix, and 55% of these are LLMs. So this is saying a lot, and it just giving you an idea of, you need to think more of these types of things and what's behind the platform you're working with, especially for specific languages. European languages are okay; they've been trained for a long time. Other languages are still very hard to get quality out of LLMs. So there was also another study that was done by Accolade Labs, where we've seen, in our business, we need to do these types of researches, because we need to understand what works and what doesn't work and how we're going to move forward, right? So one of the KPIs to test is that's like bilingual evaluation under study. It actually looks at the score comparing a sentence that was produced by a machine versus a sentence that was same one that was performed by a human, and look at the difference. This is what the blur looks like. So NMT has achieved a 13% higher quality score than LLMs. This was actually in May. And then with regards the comments, that's another KPI that checks the fluency. NMTs are still better than LLMs right now. And then the last KPI was the PED, which is the distance. How long would it take, how much effort would it take for a human to post-edit the output of a machine? With a small effort or a big effort, this KPI, the lower the better. So NMT has 16% lower post-edit distance, which means you need less involvement from a human to make it better, have a good quality in the end. And we always recommend human revision of anything produced by a machine. That's super important. So the verdict, like if we look at both the research paper Accolade Labs did and the Intento study, what we can actually say is that the NMT models are actually more consistent, have more consistent results, have better quality right now in 2024. However, we've seen also that LLMs are getting better. We've seen that, for example, between 2023, 2024, there's a huge improvement in the quality of what LLMs are producing. This is just telling us this is where things are going. It's in the end, it's going to be all about LLMs taking over, getting better at everything. At the moment, they're not energy efficient yet, and they need to be less quirky and more consistent with their output for translations. They weren't meant to be for translation at the start, and they will become really important in the future in all aspects of our professional lives. They still need customization. It could be costly, but if you have a big project and you want to customize, you can. And there is a system of what we call RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. If you're working with a platform, please ask them, do they support RAG? With RAG, you can actually give the machine a lot of data and information about you, about your brand, it's not only tone of voice and style guides and stuff like this. We're talking here huge amounts of data that will guide the LLM into producing a better, giving it a lot of background information, basically. So if whatever you're using doesn't support RAG, you need to look out for other options. Prompt engineering, of course, and fine-tuning LLMs should be a possibility. So we move on to the human in the loop. This is the most important aspect of all this. We see now that translators and linguists, they're upskilling and they're becoming prompt engineers, international prompt engineers, revisers. This is a revolution that is going to change people's professions and lives. It's not only about the translators. It should be, I think it's going to become something that everyone needs to learn about. Just think of the 90s where the internet came up and people who didn't know how to use the internet, they needed to learn. And now everyone is, obviously, it's part of our lives. This will become part of our jobs, all of us, whether SEO, PPC, digital marketeers. With regards to digital campaigns, we definitely need the human in the loop. You need a reviser to check the output of the machine for bias. We know that there's bias with the machines. They mirror society and society is biased. So you need a reviewer. You can't get your marketing campaigns out there without a human checking them. You need to choose what type of content goes through the machine without a review and what type of content shouldn't. If it's just factual, you have e-commerce with just dimensions of, I don't know, furniture or sizes of and colors of shoes and whatever. Of course, you can leave it to the machine. However, if there's any creativity, a marketing message in there, you need to get a human to revise it for you, who speaks the language, who can actually research and localize based on user intents over there in those markets. So we've seen other, here just some quotes. Really, the emphasis is on the human. We will all be changing our jobs, I think, because we will be, yes, AI is going to become part of our jobs, but we need to, we are still needed. We are the brains behind the machine. It is just a tool we need to learn to use. So no one is, being replaced by the machine. We just need to learn how to use it. Another thing about having quality output. If you're using a machine, please get a human to review and localize for you. You would, your return on investment will show you why it was important to do. So let's look at the future trends from everything we've seen before. What we're looking at is that this is actually another study that was done. We're seeing if this was, 156 organizations who are right now translating or have localization needs were asked. 53, I think, percent of them were in Europe. And this is what they were saying. Are you currently using AI? 63% said yes. Planning to use AI in the next year, 18%. Planning to use AI in the future, 16%. Not planning to use AI, 3%. This is an experiment by Neil Patel, where what he did, he actually just pretended that a blog post was written by AI and tagged it as written by AI, and this is the read time by humans. So when they thought that AI wrote the blog post, there was only 1 minute, 21 seconds read. So people are still hesitant to adopt what AI is, producing for us as content. They are still interested in the human. So this one also is from a consumer trends report by Qualtrics. It's 2024 one, the latest one. 48% of consumers are comfortable interacting with an organization's AI, and this is so much. This has a lot to say, because we're looking at they were talking to 28,000 people across 26 countries. This is huge. Again, this is related to SEO. Search engines are still being used. Again, this is a study done by Datos. It's a SEMrush company. And the verdict here was that users did not move away from the search engines. They're still using search engines to ask questions. They're not going and asking LLMs for questions, which is good news for us, for SEO. However, we see that Google is, improving all the time with GenAI, and we need to adapt, of course, the SEO tactics to be more about branding, about authority, about trust, rather than, just the first thing that comes up in the search results that AI will be spitting out. It will be too generic. We should move away from generic. AI is going to take care of that. We need to be more focused on branding, authority, trust, and user intent in websites. Of course, this again is another research done just in this September, that Google is actually trying to mimic the human workflow for translation. They're improving also their translations. So again, this is all telling us that everything is going to be moving to AI. It's going to get better. And of course, this is super, super important. The EU Artificial Intelligence Act, it came out as well this year. And if you could remember what happened in 2018 when GDPR came out, and every single company that's worked with European consumers sold to European consumers or did anything with Europe had to go and make major changes on their website to comply. Now, with this EU Artificial Intelligence Act, it's huge. Every company should go and check it and see if what are the rules for their vertical. It's per vertical, what you can do and what you can't do. Lots of lawyers are now going and training on this so they can guide companies in, navigating all this. And this is going to be the next big thing as well. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.